Well, come on. Oh, hey, welcome to Failure Accomplished is Live. What is this episode called again? I fucking forgot. Oh, being rescheduled. So I decided from now on, these streams, I'm not going to plan them out. All right, Jim?
Okay.
Uh, just trying to plan out streams sometimes, it's a little bit difficult, especially when you're not able to get guests because they're all over the world. Right now we have Jim, you're back. Jim the Ape.
Hello, humans.
We have Confused Canuck.
Hey, how's it going?
Confused Canuck, you just when did you start? You started making some videos recently, or?
Yeah, I just started middle of January. I started doing not anti-feminism, but anti-rationalism videos, I guess. And so I started doing those, and for a while I was getting a few subs, and then Bering noticed one of my comments and gave me a little shout out, and that bumped up my subs, which was really, really nice of him. So yeah, it's been crazy all of a sudden. So
Ah, that cunty bear.
yeah.
And Feminist Flow, you have
Hello.
on your channel, I've noticed a lot of origin videos on other YouTubers, interviewing them.
Yes. Yeah, I started doing that about a month ago, and usually I release one a day. And I've interviewed all different kinds of YouTubers, ranging from 9 subscribers, and well, I was their ninth one, so technically 8, up to 300, 350,000. So just to show for them to tell what's their story, like why did they start making videos, when they started, and let's say what's their experiences, how do they manage their channel, and if they have some tips to give to beginning YouTubers to help develop their channel, develop their brand.
So, which was your worst interview, and why was it Bearing?
Oh, it wasn't Bearing. Bearing was lots of fun. It's the first one, and I don't know if you've noticed, but some of them are called Origins Plus, because it's not just a straight-up interview. It ends up being like a chat show. We just talk about the random stuff. And, Bearing was really interesting, except we sidetracked so much that I was like, because at that time I had maybe 6 or 7 interviews out, so I didn't want people to think it was really representative of the format.
Yeah.
So I called it Origins Plus, but the worst I did, it's not released. It's probably the Sandra guy.
What's that one?
The Sandra guy, TSG. It's not. It hasn't been released yet. I'm waiting for a special occasion like Christmas or something, because it's so way out there that I don't want to publish it.
Okay.
One that went, let's say, one that's published that went badly. Can you show me what's there?
Yeah, I'll
Well,
put
not
that
that went badly. Well, there's one Origins Femme Fighter in character. That one, it was for April Fool's Day, and I ended up hanging up on her because she was in character and she was annoying me. The best one I did was actually, well, Kevin Logan was really interesting. Queenie was also really interesting. Other than that, well, Bearing was just plain old fun. And one of the latest ones I did, Evalion. She's a cute Nazi girl from Canada that looks like an anime character and has a really soft voice.
I've noticed you've interviewed Liberal Lunacy.
Yes.
One of the first, what's the term? Handicapped or what?
She would say crippled herself.
Cripple? Yeah. One of the first crippled that I was brought attention to thanks to Bearing. Have any of you guys caught any of her stuff?
Yeah, I saw some of her stuff on Bering's. Well, she dropped off on Bering live streams, and I was watching it. So yeah, I checked out some of her stuff. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I was in a stream with her yesterday for the Ralph retort, the kill streak, and she was saying that some SJWs or feminists have started like a conspiracy theory against her, and they say that she's just faking being disabled.
Yeah, there's always a conspiracy for everything.
Yep. Oh, yep. And no, I say cripple because that's a term that she uses. She wants to own that term and not have it used as an insult. Like her name on Twitter is General Cripple Tits.
Well, that's the odd thing with people that are like disabled or whatever. Like example, midgets. Some don't like to be called a dwarf
Yeah, or even
or a
some
little
disabled
person.
people, even if disabled is the most accepted term, some people like differently abled.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the pronouns, right? You never know what you should call them until they tell you.
Yeah. Do you ever feel odd using like trying to describe somebody by something by their characteristic?
Not that much. Usually, I mostly deal with sane people,
Yeah.
so it's not really an issue. Even I've got a couple of friends that are trans, and they use traditional pronouns, he or she, and I go with whatever they decide to identify as. I don't really care.
Yeah.
It's mostly I don't want to say humor them, but why go out of my way to be an asshole to them if they're nice
Yeah.
people?
How do you
Except if
address?
they were saying, call me Xi, Xe, they, Xenu, or
Yeah.
themselves.
I identify as Lord Xenu.
Yeah. So no, that's where I draw the line, where it's a snowflake Tumblr gender, no.
Yeah.
Like a pansexual dragonkin, no.
That's the oddest thing, just being exposed to something that at first you see it and you think is kind of a joke, especially on Tumblr, where people are thinking I'm a robot and you got to accept me as a attack helicopter or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
or
that was Lauren Southern, I guess, that said that.
yeah. Or I'm a dragonkin, and it annoys me so much when people walk over my metaphysical tail.
Uh,
That's just terrible. These kids wanting attention. And they get all the attention they want on Tumblr. And the more issues they have, the more.
like who would think that if you tell somebody no, you're not an attack helicopter, it would be like, how dare you tell me I'm not a.
Yeah.
No, because
Well,
for them, denying their gender is like you're telling them you don't deserve to exist.
well, I think it's also partly a changing of reality for these people. Like, they want to get attention, so oh yeah, I'm a dragon otherkin, and then people on top are like, oh yeah, that's what you are, that's what you are. So you sort of like you self feed into this new reality, and then you actually get offended when someone says, that's all bullshit.
Huh.
Hmm.
So we have an ape in this room.
Actually, I identify as the Shield helicarrier from the Avengers movie, which is why I can't watch Captain America: Winter Soldier. It hurts too much.
The
That violence,
repression.
yeah. So are you addressing through your avatar confused, or you are actually a person?
I am actually a beaver.
Actually a beaver?
Yes.
Good to have another non-human in the chat.
Yeah, stinky humans.
Do you hate being compared to a woodchuck?
Yes, I do hate being compared to a woodchuck.
Because you
just
can't chuck as much wood as they can.
It's true. It's a great shame for our people.
It's the oppression of the humanarchy. It
Yes.
must be smashed.
Oh, that humanarchy. I can already hear humanarchy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what the pay gap is between humans and beavers? We do
Oh.
construction work too.
It's ridiculous. And it's like you're doing the construction jobs, you're putting your ass on the line, building those dams. It's ridiculous.
I only get 3 fucking grubs and a soggy root every hour.
Talking about grubs, Flo, you interviewed Queenie, and one trend that's been happening on her Twitter feed as of late is she's been bringing up way too much of her vegan life.
I don't know.
Well, I'm just bringing it up.
Okay, yeah, I like the segue there.
Yeah.
No, I really like her. She's so cute with the blue hair, and at least for me, when you see a kitten and you go, oh, that's so cute. Well, that's the same sound I make when I see her.
Yeah. What I've been noticing is just some people aren't for the vegan lifestyle. And how do you feel about channels? Like, do people sometimes need more than one channel for like topics?
Well, like Sargon, for example, has his regular video channel plus the live stream, and I think it's a good idea because, like myself, I'm doing 3, 4, 5 different topics and different playlists, and then it displays only 4 playlists in the main menu. So if somebody's not aware that there's more than 4, then they just miss them completely.
Yeah.
So I could see a justification for that. Oh, Sargon has more than that. He has what is historical channel plus V Victus, his gaming channel.
Yeah.
So that helps to organize because he has lots of contents he puts out. Bearing has his streaming channel too. But
Yeah.
for most people, it's just confusing because you spread your subs apart. Some people might not be aware that you have 2 channels.
What's odd is like Thunderfoot with his channel. He has his science stuff and his anti-SJW stuff as well. But one type of videos that he does that really doesn't get enough attention is his history videos.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't even know he had history videos.
Exactly. So you really don't get to see, those type of videos when it's kind of mixed up in all the other. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that if you have 2 channels, then it spreads the viewers because some people might be interested only with one type of videos and not all the others, so they don't count as subs, so they might be subscribed to only one channel out of the 2 or 4, so they might not have readily access to the other types of videos because when you're a full-time YouTuber, you want to get the most views possible, the most clicks. Because that's what pays the bills. Well, or tries to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Is it for the views for you guys?
No, for me it's to get my message out there. I don't monetize my videos. I don't have a Patreon. And even if I don't do that, I still get criticized. Oh yeah, you just do it for the fame, or you just do it for the money. Each time somebody says that, I say yes, please donate to my non-existent Patreon.
Yeah.
No,
So
but
that's
I kind of like that something like Patreon exists though, because if you do like somebody's videos enough, or you do want to see, look, some of these videos take a while to make.
yeah, but then you have an obligation to make them. And personally, I do the video a lot for myself and to get my message out there. I don't see it as a job. I don't ever want it to become a job unless I'm in real trouble, like I lose my regular job and I have nothing else to fall back on. Then I would start a Patreon and monetize everything.
Oh, I agree. I used to have a podcast, and the only reason I did it was because I wanted to talk to people that I normally couldn't talk to, and it didn't get like hardly any views or downloads. But you reach out to people, and they'll still, talk to you just because you have a platform to do it.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, no, I don't monetize everything, and even a video I made about Undoom got 2 copyright flags on it. So there's 2 companies that took over the monetization and split them in between them, and they put ads on it. And I wasn't even planning on monetizing that videos, but they put ads on it, and just that fact annoys me.
Did you
Wow.
try to dispute it? I know Jim went through that recently.
No, because I don't want to give my real name, and I wasn't planning on monetizing it anyway. It's just that at some point somebody will say, yeah, what about that video? There's ads, so you're monetizing it. You're trying to make money off the back of the viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim, did you have to put?
Shuaned has lots of criticism about that. They say she doesn't really believe in anti-feminism. She's just doing it to be as popular as Boxy and to make money.
Yeah. Jim, did you have to put your pet human's name out there when you disputed your claim?
I had to put his name as the signature, yes. But he's the fall guy for my channel, basically. So anything that goes wrong is really his fault. Like if anyone dislikes the response video I made to Top Hats and Champagne, which features a cameo by my pet human, if anyone dislikes that video, it's because they don't like my pet human's stupid face. Because he really is an ugly motherfucker. I don't, I'm just
Confused. Do you ever have any plans of putting your mug out there or no?
No, actually, I think my content has a potential to be seen very negatively. I mean, I personally am someone who believes that facts don't, you know, people's feelings shouldn't get in the way of facts.
Mhm.
And I think that there's a lot of things that are happening in the world that really, if we put our emotions to the side, we could get more shit done. Like as a perfect example, in Toronto, since 1989, they haven't been releasing race information with crimes. And I know it's a big subject. Oh, race, race, race. But it's an impediment to figure out what the actual problem is.
Yeah.
And I think and when you start dealing with subjects like that, there's a very high potential that it gets back to you, and then an email gets written to your employer, and you might not get fired, but it will most certainly affect your employment. So
Oh, for sure. You got even examples of people of their own race going, and exposing crimes of their own race, like Tommy Sotomayor,
yeah.
to the point now that he's pretty much batshit crazy and thinks that everybody is out to get him
Uh,
just because people have doxed him and, gone after his family.
yeah,
Just
it's insane. I mean, and it's not even like he's saying. I mean, he says some controversial stuff. Don't get me wrong, but I think the stuff that people object to the most are the things that are actually true, but no one really wants to say. Those are the most offensive things to these sorts of people because it's almost like they know it's right, but they can't believe it's right, so that just makes them angrier.
yeah. Sorry about that. I just got a tweet from Queenie. Now I feel bad for putting up my most recent video. Because she's like, man, I haven't even made a tweet about vegans in days.
Yeah. No, but yeah, is she listening?
I doubt anybody's listening. I could send
Okay,
her.
that's good. No, but I really like Queenie. She's like so cute and fluffy, like a blue teddy bear that speaks Spanish.
Yeah, well, if you
No, no,
want.
but I really, really like her. I've never had any issue. I know she's been involved in some drama, but maybe it's the boobs.
Yeah.
I like boobs.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's all well and good, but for me, like, I don't care how nice the packaging is. Like, when there's bullshit ideas and when there's ideas that I disagree with, it's not gonna matter who it's coming from. It's not gonna matter if it's coming from the mouth of babes or the mouth of fucking beasts, because for me, I tend to focus a lot more on what's being said than who's saying it.
Yeah, but the thing is that you need to make a difference. I know it's not evident for a lot of people, but from the public opinions and the private opinions and the personality. And most of, let's say 95, 99% of the interactions I have with her are on a personal basis, not through her videos. And actually, I've never watched any of her videos.
Yeah, I've mostly interacted through either watching her on the streams and stuff like that. But like I said, it's not that she's a bad person or anything. It's just the whole thing about like, what's your opinion on vegetarians or vegans?
They can do whatever they want, I don't care, because vegetarianism, it's like religion and it's like a penis. It's okay to have one, it's okay to, well, mostly it applies to religion, but it's okay to have a penis, just don't shove it in my face all over the place.
Look, I don't care if you have a zucchini as a penis. The
Yeah,
problem comes just, I've had friends that decide to pick up the vegan lifestyle, and the problem with that is just they make everything about, being a vegan. And sometimes that can come off a little bit too abrasive, especially when it comes to like, this is why my lifestyle is better than yours.
exactly. When it becomes virtue signaling and they take a moral high ground, oh, I'm a vegan, I'm better than you, yeah, that annoys me. They
Yeah.
can think it, whatever they want, but to always kind of brag about it, I'm like, fuck it, I'll slap you with bacon.
But that's what happens on Twitter when you like kind of like retweet things that are very pro vegan and comes off as anti not vegan. people are like really enough with the vegan stuff.
Yeah, like one time I had a Twitter argument with Red Pill Philosophy. He posted a tweet and he honestly made a comment that made him sound exactly like a feminist he would respond to in a video if it was a comment about feminism.
Hmm.
And I was like, dude, I just posted a comment. I said, look, I like your videos, but you really sound like the people that you're criticizing all the time. And he started to get into an argument with me, and it went on for like 50 tweets to the point that I was getting annoyed by it. Like, I never block people, and I didn't want him to block me or be annoyed or start to get buttered. So I was trying to be polite. I'm like, no, I don't want to argue with you, and he was trying to drag me into an argument. And it was about like a chicken restaurant that was using a cartoon chicken as its logo.
Uh-huh.
And he said that's terrible. If they were putting the picture of a dead chicken being tortured and slaughtered, people wouldn't go in the restaurant.
I would.
That's marketing.
I
And
would
like,
too. That's fucking awesome.
yeah, and I kept telling him, look, maybe some people would be for that, like the places like Red Lobster where you pick your own live lobster from an aquarium. How about you go in the backyard, you pick your own chicken, and they cook it for you? Or what if somebody grew up in a farm and they had a pet chicken, and seeing that cartoon chicken brings fond memory of their pet chicken?
Yeah. I used to have a pet chicken.
Yeah. Was it
Here
delicious?
at this new chicken place, you get to cut the head off the chicken that you want to eat. Like, holy shit, this restaurant is metal as fuck.
No,
Not
it could
only-
be a thing. Like all the fish places in, let's say, in South Korea, you pick your own fish from an aquarium. You pick your own food. I've never seen it for, let's say, mammals or birds, but there it's a thing. You see the fish, you pick the fish you want. They have live squids, live, I don't know, aliens, I guess. It's yucky. I don't like that.
Not only
But-
do you get to cut the head off your own chicken, you get to pick it out as a little baby chick, raise it for, what is it, 8 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love eating meat. I can't stand seafood because seafood looks way too much like its original form.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, yeah, same for me. I don't like. I'm allergic to some kind of seafood, some kind of fish, and sometimes there's cross contamination. Like they cook everything on the same grill, and I can get them. It's only a mild reaction, but I don't take any chances anymore. I stay away from fish completely and seafood.
Just rolling back to the vegan thing again, I think it really depends on what type of vegan you're talking to and their motivations. Like, I have a friend who's a vegan, and he really doesn't give two shits about what I eat. He just personally objects to the nature of how meat is raised in our society, and he says, well, I don't want any part of that, so he says, he just steps away. And then, so I have no problem with those sorts of vegans, but then you have other vegans that are like, oh, you're an immoral person because you eat meat. So, I mean, it really sort of depends on where they are on that level,
Yeah,
Sort
like
of like a, just your next door neighbor that, goes to church on Christmas and Easter, and the other person that's, at your door is like, why aren't you in church,
I
Yeah,
actually
like-
made a video quite a while ago, back before I had a cartoon avatar that you currently see on the Hangout, when I was using photos of myself from my ape modeling days. And it was about something that I had seen on my Pet Humans Facebook, where someone had basically almost killed their cat by trying to feed it a vegan diet.
Yeah.
And if you try to impose your vegan lifestyle on other people and on your pets, especially cats, because cats are naturally carnivores, they have to.
They're obligate carnivores.
Yeah, they have to eat meat. Dogs are a little bit more fluid. They're a little bit more of like in the omnivore territory where they don't necessarily have to eat meat, but cats especially need meat. So like trying to feed the cat a vegan diet almost killed it.
Well, that's happened with babies. Babies that have been on a vegetarian vegan diet because their parents are opposed to drinking, like, milk or taking in anything that doesn't go by their guidelines, have died.
Yeah. You need certain nutrients, and a lot of times the easiest way to get it is from meat or from, some kind of animal product like milk or eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can try to convince yourself that the human body was designed to eat vegetables only. No, no. If it was true, we'd still have what's it called? Appendicite.
Well, if
The
we
thing
were,
the thing that gives you appendicitis. Appendix.
yeah.
Yeah, because animals that are not vegetarian, herbivores, they have a much more developed appendix because it helps them. It holds bacteria that help them digest cellulose from the plants. But the human body is not adapted anymore to go straight out to eating only plants. It's not efficient.
Yep. And if you look at just apes in general, especially chimps, they go out and they hunt meat. I mean, it's part of our lineage,
Yeah, and so you can try to convince yourself to redefine the word of what is human, like racism or sexism, but doesn't make it really true.
And also, everybody's different. There's some vegans that, they live a very healthy lifestyle and then they just get sick.
Yeah, and that's funny. I used to work with a vegan, and he kept saying, "Oh, I'm never sick. I'm never sick." I said, "But what about when you missed a week because you had the flu 6 months ago?" "Oh, that was the flu. That doesn't count." Then what about that a year and a half ago where you missed again a week because you had something like an infection? Oh, that doesn't count. It's not a disease, it's an infection. So I'm like, okay, vegan diet causes brain damage, hurts the memory.
Why would me getting sick have anything to do with what I put into my body?
Yeah, no causation isn't correlation.
I think the least sick I got was when I ate the shittiest and drank the most.
Well, yeah, your body's toxic to the bacteria.
Yeah, but I even survived, that movie Super Size Me?
Yeah.
The guy did it for a month. I did it for 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, because the closest place that was next to me, like closer than a grocery store, was just a McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the 99-cent burgers, so it was really, really... It ended up being cheaper to eat at McDonald's for every meal, like just the burgers, not the combos, instead of buying real groceries.
Yeah. You go to the doctor, it's like, "I'm sorry, sir, you have the colon of an 80-year-old.
No, actually, I'm really healthy. I'm in good shape. I'm not overweight, and because I have a high metabolism, so...
Oh, well, there you go. You're the lucky one.
Yeah, I have a fast metabolism. I can eat whatever I want. I never gain weight, and if I don't eat enough, I'm actually losing weight.
Son of a bitch.
I know, that's my thin privilege speaking.
It feels like you're fat shaming my pet human.
Yeah, because some people, they try to watch their weight and they still gain weight. But yeah, for me it's the opposite. So when they say, yeah, there's a genetic factor in it, but there's also lifestyle.
Yep. Yeah, that's fair.
Because if you say, oh, it's genetics, and then you do like twice what the guy from Super Size Me was eating, yeah, no, that's not helping. It's a combination of both factors.
I ate 12 slices of pizza for dinner. It's genetic, and then I just got weight.
Yeah. Or people that say that no, they gain more weight than what they eat. That's scientifically impossible.
Yeah, I know.
I have good genetics because my grandfather made it to 100, even though he ate fried chicken every week. But I'm a fat fuck. But at the same time, when I get my blood work done, everything, blood pressure, cholesterol, everything's in line.
Yeah.
For now.
But I'm not going to say...
For now.
Yeah, I'm not saying that fat is good because in the end it causes complications as you go. Yeah,
because you don't have diabetes until you develop it. You know.
Yeah. As an older fat guy, I I was pretty much in the exact same boat as you, and everything was fine. And then now I have high blood pressure, and so it's starting. So it's like I'm slowly working my way down. You know, it's sort of a huge change.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No, my bad.
that sort of killed the conversation there for a second.
No, because the thing with streams, some people, like when I do interviews, people always say, well, there's a big gap between questions, because I don't do editing, because I think it takes away from the spontaneity. Like, if somebody stumbles on a question, I don't edit out the that he goes on for 30 seconds, because if it's a hard question, it should sound hard to answer, well, if it's hard for them.
Yeah, but
And sometimes people tell me there's a long gap between questions. I'm like, yeah, because first it's a stream, there's a delay, and I want to be sure I don't cut people off. I need to make sure that they run their train of thought to the end of it. Then I wait a little bit to make sure that they're done, and then move on to the next question.
yeah, it's not only that, but I find that gaps and the way the conversation flows is informative in itself. You know, it actually adds to the conversation, I find. Because
Yeah.
you're sitting there, you're sort of gauging the conversation. If everything's all cut out, you don't get that same tempo, that same, you know, like, oh, it was flowing this way and then it stopped. Why did it stop? What's interesting about this point, you know?
Yeah, and even sometimes like when I did the Nazi girl from Canada, Evelion, sometimes I was laughing so hard at her answers that I lost track of which question I asked, and sometimes I asked the same question twice. I could edit all that out, but it takes away from it.
I'm a bad interviewer just because sometimes I ask a question, and as people are talking, I just drift away in my mind, and I'm like, oh shit, it's been 2 minutes and I haven't listened to a thing they said.
Yeah, or sometimes, because usually I mute myself just to be sure, especially if somebody's on camera, I mute myself to make sure that if, let's say, my chair creaks or, I don't know, I have a drink, I make sure, not a drink, just like coffee, that it doesn't switch away to my icon instead of their camera. But and sometimes I don't click the mute button in time. One time I even did the camera instead of the mute button. Well, my camera is blocked. But yeah, then I just say, oh, sorry if there was a delay. I just didn't hit the mute button right. Or even sometimes I just multitask and do something else. And it's happened a couple of times. I was like, oh, sorry, I was multitasking. I forgot about you. Or I think it was during Naked Ape. Some point it says, oh, somebody disagreed with me on the internet. I have to do something about it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Naked
just
Ape.
leave it as it is without editing, just to, okay, yeah, I'll sound like a hipster, but it sounds more organic, more realistic, more veridic, more true to
Exactly.
because
Lose the natural.
I tried to edit the first one, and halfway through I was like, yeah, this is way too much work. No, seriously. It was mostly like, yeah, it takes away from it. It's nice when it's all cut clean, but
Oh yeah,
it's not the same feeling. And
That's right.
yeah, and even if I stumble, I don't care. It's not about me, the interview. I'm just a tool. I'm a tool to make them talk, to make them say something.
just go with what works, you know, because in the end, like, I remember with my podcast, I would leave it raw, and then after a while, like, some people would be like, why don't you, you know, edit those pauses together? And then you get other people who are like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
have started editing my audio on my videos because I tend to ramble a lot, and there tends to be long pauses in between words. And I've also noticed that sometimes there'll be a very audible breath sound of me inhaling in between a sentence
Oh, yeah.
or in between some words,
Oh, for sure.
and I'll cut those out because it saves time and it makes the video shorter. And it tends to, like, shorter videos tend to do better because people have a shorter attention span, but ultimately I'll try to cut down on the length, but I try to make the videos contain everything that I need them to contain in terms of what I needed to say. So I might cut out parts where I repeat myself, but the video will be as long as it needs to be.
Exactly.
But I try to, whenever I have those pauses, I'll cut them out. But I've seen some people that'll just cut like right between words, where like there's like literally no gap, and sometimes that's a little bit, too much.
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah,
I actually do that. I'll cut a little, but yeah.
Yeah, that's bad editing because, like, when I did the response video to Top Hats and Champagne, I reused clips from another video so that he would respond to himself. And I had to really plan it carefully. I didn't want to, let's say, make a clip out of middle of a word or hear parts of a word from before. So I had to look at the waveform of the audio and cut it at exactly the right place so that it was cleaner.
Uh-huh.
Because especially the parts where I just chained a bunch of unrelated words together to make up a sentence, if there's parts of other words in there, it makes it really confusing. And also sync up all the audio together to make sure it's all at the same volume. But that was really fun. I had lots of fun to do that response, and I was surprised by, well, the response that it got, because I thought, okay, people just... It's been a while since I did my own content myself, and I just do interviews, so I thought, meh, I'm doing it for the fun of it. It's an interesting topic, but it got really popular. It got something like 500 views within 2-3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, I was really, really surprised, and now it's over. It tapers off after a while. Now it's over, I think, 11 or 1,200 views.
It's nice.
Not bad.
Oh yeah, and to me, according to my standards, it went viral. I have low standards.
By the way, I just linked my response video to Top Hats and Champagne in the chat. If any of you are curious about that, again, shameless self-promotion. I do it all the time.
Totally.
Yeah, it's definitely a good video you put together.
Yeah, I think I watched parts of it because I think it's not released yet, but I interviewed you, Jim, and I think it was right after you did that video. It was your most recent one at the time, I think.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little bit of hate for that video that I put up about Queenie.
Oh, hey.
Well, it happens. Don't worry. So not every video is being liked. Like, it happened to me when I first started to make videos. I did one about Brittany Venti.
Yeah.
And like usually at that time I was posting videos before just going to bed, going to sleep. And because if the first comment you get that is negative, or you get one downvote or one dislike, well, it's like 100% are dislike, 100% are bad comments.
Yeah.
So it might not be representative of the response that the video gets. But then I wake up the next day, I see 15 downvotes, 1 upvote. Like, what's going on? And just people didn't understand the video and kind of bummed me out, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I took a break after that because it's Space Lord Gaming, which is a guy that I really like, and I always forget to approach him for interviews, but he was in my original list. And he told me, look, now you've got, 10 subs, 20 subs. So yeah, it makes a huge difference, but it's people that find you randomly, not because they're your subscribers, because I had 60 views but 10, 20 subs. So he said later, when you have a larger following, a larger subscriber base that get what you do and understand what you're doing, those 15, 20 downvotes or dislikes, it won't matter because you'll have 100 votes or likes.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'll get better. And I think if you're getting hate for responding to Queenie, it might be because she has certain qualities that a lot of people find adorable when they come across her. Like feminist flow is, he admitted to that before. So a lot of people are kind of taken in by that, oh, she's adorable kind of thing. And,
but not only that, it can be the opposite. People don't like her, so they dislike the video, even though you're kind of responding to her. they don't even check the content. Like the video I did, the interview of Kevin Logan, which
Yeah.
is one of my favorite ones. And immediately after I posted it, it got 5 downvotes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
So
so
that
far what I
particular
see,
didn't have time to watch 2 hours of content in a few seconds or a few minutes.
yeah. So far what I see is one person saying, "Dear Queenie, do not advocate things that you prefer. Here's a whole video publicly crying about at it, at you about it." Yeah.
Yeah, I find it hard sometimes to figure out what is good or not in my videos. I mean, like like mostly my subscriber base knows what I'm doing, especially since most of it's from Bearing. So mostly I have tons of likes, but there was one video with Milo Stewart, the not transgender but transgender advocate.
Oh,
And
she's next on my list of people to respond. I actually posted a poll on my Twitter, and in 24 hours it only got 1 vote, and it was who should
yeah,
I respond to first, the pretentious twat waffle or the androgynous imp? And the pretentious twat waffle, which is top hats and champagne, won by a landslide of 1 vote, which was 100% of the vote. And the runner-up, which was 0% of the vote, was the androgynous imp, which is Milo Stewart. So she's next on my list of people to respond to.
But yeah, it was like my breakdown was like 1/3 thumbs, 2/3 thumbs up, 1/3 thumbs down, and I never really understood why, because my style hadn't changed, my content of how I spoke didn't change, but I guess it's just that person, either it was done to death or people really really don't like her. I don't know what it was, but so I'm trying to figure out, try to do somewhat unique stuff like the Southern California university where the Feminist canceled the video game event, where they had like these great big CEOs and things of video game companies coming in, but because there wasn't a lady in the panel because she canceled, they canceled the entire event, and students had prepared video games to show these executives, like potentially life-changing stuff, and that was just thrown out because, oh, sorry, no vagina on the stage, we can't have this.
Well, that was ridiculous too, because it was like 4 hours before the event.
Yeah.
Like, imagine all those people that traveled and wasted their time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to build up on what I was saying, I can go over some of the stats of my videos just to show you how sometimes it's not representative. Like the latest stream I did yesterday about the people that were criticizing Woolly Bumblebee. Right now, 288 views, 23 comments, 25 upvotes, no downvotes. Then interview with Goodfella, 150 views, 9 comments, 17 upvotes, no downvotes. Then Evalion, the Nazi girl, I think it's 1,600 views, it just says 1K. 114 comments, 46 upvotes, 8 downvotes. So it's not that the interview was bad. It was really good. It's one of my favorite ones because she's so funny. And yeah, it's weird to hear a really cute anime kind of girl says "gas the cags." Yeah, and it got 8 downvotes because some people didn't like her message. So it's not really the video that they like; it's the first person in it. Like when I interviewed Woolly Bumblebee for reviews on the petition, got 397 views. 29 comments, 25 upvotes, 8 downvotes because some people didn't like her. So most of the interviews I do, there's 0 downvotes. Like the response I did for Tapas and Champagne, 1,200 views, 98 comments, 106 upvotes, 3 downvotes. So it might be some of his fans that didn't like it.
Oh yeah, that'll happen for sure.
Yeah, and so even if I look at so that was just the most recent ones, but if I look, there's some that got really a lot of downvotes. Well, Kevin Logan, 479 views, 63 comments, 39 upvotes, 10 downvotes.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one that I got the most downvotes. Bearing, I don't know why some people didn't like it. It got 3,700 views, 94 comments, 184 likes, 8 dislikes.
But his videos always get like a couple dislikes, but usually it'll be like 1,000 likes,
Yeah.
5 dislikes. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the videos I do, there's not a lot of dislikes because, well, it's not my opinion. It's just I'm talking about people and them telling their life story.
Mhm.
So unless they say something really controversial, like Nazi Girl, they don't that she has a message that she's pushing through, people don't dislike that. But like the video I said that at first got 15 downvotes, I look at it now that I got a larger subscriber base. It got 1,200 views, 36 comments, 66 upvotes, 24 downvotes.
Yeah. Who's
And so 15 of those 24 downvotes were the original ones that I got from people that just found the video randomly through a search and didn't like it because it was about Brittany Venti.
Yeah.
yeah? Who's next on your hit list?
I'm doing Copper Cab today.
Oh,
Then after that, I got some other people that I need to wrangle cats now because some people have been pushing it back and back again, like Chris Regan, Tapas and Champagne, Bane666AU, Akbar Celine, Bene.
oh, Hagbard's he's good.
Oh yeah. He's one of the guys that first supported me when I started my channel.
Yeah.
So he was on my original list of people I wanted to interview, but never got around to do it. Some
Hagbard and Baron are like those guys that surprise me because they get like a lot of comments, and meanwhile you just see them in there commenting on their own videos, but also you'll see them around in somebody else's videos commenting as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Bering gets around. He's mostly lately. Him and Sugar Tits have started to do lots of streams everywhere. He gave me a Bering bump. Sugar Tits gave me a shout out.
Yeah.
Liberal Lunacy gave me a shout out. So yeah, it's really good. They try to help other people. Uh, I thought about doing a shout out, but that's pretty much what I'm doing all the time. I'm featuring some YouTubers.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what's next in line for you, Jim, as far as videos go? You working on anything?
Well, the next one up is, like I said, a response to Milo Stewart. Not to be confused with Milo Yiannopoulos. It's like good, bad, good Milo, bad Milo. Two very different Milos, and then after that, who knows? I just kind of make videos whenever something comes up, whether it's I watch a response video and the video being responded to gets me kind of riled up and I have a lot to say about it, or just something will come up randomly in a video that I watch that I feel like I want to comment on, which is kind of what happened with my video about how people tend to kind of shame each other based on how much or how little sex they have. What the hell was the name of that video? It was something about sex insecurity, get laid but don't be a slut, I think it was called. That was just kind of me monologuing about that trend, and the thing that kind of inspired me to do that was just I was watching a video where someone was saying about people who were like disagreeing with him, like, oh, you need to like get out more and go date women or something, and I was like, why is that the standard? Like, just from a philosophical standpoint, it bothers me that a supposedly intellectual species capable of complex cognitive thought is judging each other based on such superficial bullshit as, how much you get laid. Like, I know it's a primal thing and there's an evolutionary imperative to have sex and to procreate, but shouldn't we be at the point, philosophically speaking, where we don't value ourselves based on such like superficial primal shit?
You would think so, but the
yeah.
funniest thing I ever like saw was I was interviewing one of a dude that was on UFC Ultimate Fighter, and so is after the interview, and we're just hanging out and we're talking about different topics, and I'm like, oh, this is a deep guy, and all of a sudden everything stops because a chick walks by in a dress, and literally everybody from the shop just like leaves the shop just to stare at this woman walking down the street, and I was like, all right, that's all it takes.
Yep.
Just go stare at some ass, and that'll derail any conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, Canuck, what you have in line? I see over here you have F white people, no racist, bro. Is that the chick that says that minorities can't be racist?
No, it's just all white people. I can't remember. I've done a lot of videos. I'm sorry. I think she says all white people are racist. Let me. I can't recall. I'm sorry. So, because like I said, I do a lot of videos and they're all off the cuff. I do them fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a little hard for me to remember the exact content of what's in there. What's coming up for me? I don't know. I basically respond to things as I see them sometimes.
Yeah. Did
Sorry.
you see the response from Benita Tyndall
Benita Tyndall? No.
about the whole thing? Have you seen it, Jim?
What? Like she released some kind of response after the like video went viral?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I've only seen like the Corey Goldstein interview, which I actually included in my video about the SFSU thing.
Mhm. I'm trying to
Yeah.
find it real quick.
I mean, it to me it really doesn't matter at a certain point what she sort of says because you can see everything you didn't know about her in that one video. I mean, it tells everything you didn't know about her character. Short of her saying,
actions speak louder, and she was physically accosting him. So
well, no,
yeah.
the way I viewed it is that she viewed herself as being in a situation of power, which she is, and she used that to bully somebody, and and you can tell she didn't even really think it was correct because if you're righteous in your actions, like if you think this is a real positive thing, someone videotaping you and be like, oh good, someone got that on tape, man, that's right, look at that asshole. But she wasn't. She was like, oh shit, someone saw me.
Well, it's
So, I
interesting.
mean,
We really never got to see who was behind the camera. I just pulled up this article right now. First time I even seen one picture of the guy that was filming that, pretty much got attacked as well.
yeah, it's good. You should press charges, in my opinion.
Yeah. But this was all the way back from April 3rd, and nobody really talks about that guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he wasn't really. I mean, because the video cuts out, I guess no one really thinks he had anything, like he
Well,
wasn't really affected. It just the hand went in front of the camera, so you don't really know what happened, right? But
and then you shouldn't lay your hand on anybody's camera because that is, their possession, their property. That's kind of like, do you remember the 8-ball jacket guy in the subway?
yeah.
And then that guy that was recording had his phone smacked out of his hand. I think it was 2, possibly 3 times.
Oh wow.
Yeah, if you watch the entire video, he
Yeah.
had it smacked out of his hand 3 times, but nobody really talks about him being assaulted.
Yeah, wow, that's surprising. Yeah, but what struck me about the man with the 8-ball jacket on the subway was that he was charged too, and I sort of sit back and I go, why? Like, there comes a point when you're just being bullied and you're getting hit and stuff, and you're entitled to hit them back, like to have it stop or to like put some distance between you, and he hit that lady. And he wasn't even given a chance to stop. Everyone else swarmed. So when that's it, fists have to fly at that point. So I'm not exactly sure why he was charged.
The terrible thing about that, he wasn't charged. He was let go. In the end, they also arrested her. They let her go within hours. He was held for 3 days.
Oh wow, yeah,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And
Yeah, you should have the right to defend yourself if someone attacks you. It doesn't matter who you are, what gender you are. It doesn't matter if it's a woman defending herself against a man or a man defending himself against a woman. And especially if there's like video evidence of it, which there is a lot nowadays because everyone's got a camera on their phone. So if there's video evidence that you were just hitting the other person to defend yourself and that they had attacked you first, then you shouldn't be in any kind of legal trouble over that.
Honestly, I'm pro camera. I think like these days you should even have a camera in your own house because you never know where you might be accused of doing something, you know?
Exactly. There was actually in Toronto there was a case of a guy who had a camera on his dash cam, and he was on the highway, and he was stopped because it was just stop and go traffic, and the other guy rolls back into him, right? And then the scam was he was saying, "Oh yeah, you hit me. I'm going to report that you hit me unless you give me $250, right?" And he goes, and the other guy says, "Oh well, I got a camera. I'm calling the police," and the guy was just done. He was charged with fraud and everything. So I mean, yeah, you really should have cameras pretty much everywhere, or be able to record stuff once shit starts hitting the fan.
Oh yeah, most places if you hit somebody, it doesn't matter what they did, you're to blame. I had an accident one night. I was going onto an off ramp. There was two lanes. The left lane was all blocked up with cars, but I was going on the right lane to a different off ramp, right? And basically the car in front of me was going, and I was following him, and all of a sudden he slams on his brake, and I slam on the brakes of my Cadillac, and literally like the part that hit his car was just all of my hood because I had slammed on my brakes so hard. And when the police get there, he says basically, well, I was stopping for all the cars in front of me, right? He ended up stopping 100 yards from the point of impact, right? Now, if you have an off-ramp that doesn't have a shoulder, and you say that you had cars in front of you that you were slamming on the brakes for, why didn't you fucking hit something?
Yeah.
And so that's the moment where I wish I would have had a camera because, it was pretty much his word against mine, and he has the law of, you hit me, so you're to blame.
Yeah, exactly. It's the default. Yeah. So so it just get back to the original topic. I actually don't know what I'm going to be doing next, but I've been toying with the idea of looking at some of Donald Trump's claims and trying to see the good in them. I mean, you always hear everyone say, "Oh, that's horrible. This is horrible." You only hear horrible things, but if you look at it and you sit back and say, like, for example, if you talk about like he wants to build a wall, that's his like most famous thing, right? And it's like you sit back and people are like, "Oh, that's ridiculous." Well, is it really? Because there's a fence already exists there. What is the fence's purpose? The fence's purpose is to keep people out. What does a wall do? A wall just makes the fence better. So I'm not sure why that's so controversial. And what people aren't usually aware of is that the U.S. sends net, I think, $58 billion into Mexico's economy, and there can be significant leverage applied to Mexico to help fund the purchase of this wall. But I don't think that's a good idea. But the whole people tend to look at it and say, "Oh, that's ridiculous," and wave it off without actually looking into some of the details. And maybe by looking at it, you can sit back and say, "Is that really so crazy?" But then again, it might just be channel suicide to do something like that.
A big problem with the border too is that not all of it is walled off. There's huge areas that are just wide open.
No,
that only rely.
Those should be completely closed off. I mean, I think that there's also a argument to be made that illegal immigration disproportionately affects different groups within the United States, and I think if those groups can become better because there's less illegal immigrants, that might be a good thing to do.
Mm-hmm. I honestly don't have a problem with a wall being built, but the problem with that is definitely just the expense of it. If it could come from Mexico, fine, but I see it just being another tax project that we have to pay for.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you view your paying of taxes, right? Like here in Canada, we have healthcare, right?
Mhm.
And we pay for that, and I pay for people that have no job and things like that. And a lot of people, like, so I actually own land in the States, so I know some people in the States, and they object to the thought of, oh, I have to pay for some homeless guy to receive treatment. The problem is that when people that can't afford treatment come into hospitals with emergency things, they still get treated, and they just default on those bills. They just don't pay them.
Mhm.
What ends up happening is that cost is then passed on to the people who can pay, and the insurance companies absorb that cost, but then you have to pay exorbitant amounts of money for those insurance claims, So it comes to a point where you're paying for it anyways, right? So I think with the wall across, or sorry, the fence with Mexico, I think there's some cost that the United States incurs by having illegal immigrants come in. To
Mhm.
what degree, I can't say. So it may be a wise financial decision to sit back and say, okay, if we reduce the number of illegal immigrants that come in by 20%, we have a net savings of this much, and that much pays for the wall. So let's do that, because it's the same money in, money out. But that sort of study hasn't actually been done, so I'm not sure what it would be. But it's not crazy. Like it could work if the numbers all bear out.
Mhm. Have you happened to see the any of Vice recently put out one of their episodes, and it covered a Trump golf resort in Dubai? No,
No.
not the United Emirates. Yeah, and just like worker conditions over there.
Well, I mean, let's see. It's United Emirates. I mean, it's crazy all over the place there. I haven't seen it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, basically just people making like $3. No, $3 is supposed to be what they were offered, and they ended up making like $1.50 a day.
Yeah, something like that. But that's like even Saudi Arabia. That's what it is. You have the ultra rich and you have the ultra poor, and the ultra rich don't really give two shits about the ultra poor. So and that's the way it goes over there.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're gonna build, like, I don't know, if you're gonna build something over there, you can't really change that system, right?
Hmm.
Like it's not. I don't think Donald Trump would oppose paying people a reasonable wage. Maybe he would. I don't know.
Hmm.
I just don't think he would. I don't think he would really care if we paid $4 versus a buck 50 or something like that. But I think that it's the requirement of the country that we don't want there to be a middle class. So no, you're going to pay him this much.
Yeah.
So
What's your thoughts on it, Jim?
Mm, I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking about like, the minimum wage argument. It's pretty divisive. Some people are saying that, oh, if you raise the minimum wage, and I'm just technically talking about it here, but like that would, I mean, to me, that's something that would help with the huge like income disparity between the rich and the poor in this country. And but I mean, I don't know, because people who oppose it are like, oh, well, then they'll raise the prices on everything, and everything will become, more expensive, and this will happen and that'll happen. And I think the problem with those kinds of arguments is that no one's really an expert necessarily on economy, like economics, and how that sort of system works. And I don't know if many of the people who are arguing so strongly for or against raising the minimum wage really are equipped to predict accurately what raising the minimum wage would do and how that would affect things. I'm not sure if anyone can really make an accurate prediction on that. And as far as Trump and the wall goes, like I don't know, because like does any other country have to wall off their borders and be so anti-immigration? And are the people who are coming here illegally really doing that much damage? I mean, sure, there should be a process by which they can become citizens and pay taxes, and if they're not, if they're not paying taxes, then I would understand why that's, illegal, and why they should be there should be a way of saying, like, oh, well, if you're not going to become a citizen, and if you're not going to pay taxes, and you're just going to, live off the system, then you aren't legally recognized as a citizen, and you have, like, that's why you have, like, I believe it's ICE, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, that
Mhm.
handles that kind of thing, and deports people if they're found to be basically illegal immigrants, and therefore a kind of criminal leeching off the government without
Yeah.
paying anything into it.
Can I ask you a question though? Do you think that illegal immigration and it seems like you're sort of for the increase of the minimum wage, which I'm sort of for as well. But do you think that illegal immigration and the increase of the minimum wage are sort of counterproductive to one, or like opposite of one each other? Because illegal immigrants will come in and they will find illegal work, therefore depleting the amount of work that's there and lowering wages.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it, I think, on the one hand, the minimum wage should automatically adjust for inflation and cost of living rising and stuff like that. And I think maybe in terms of illegal immigration, maybe there just needs to be some changes to the system to make it to where if someone is, like, deliberately gaining the system and and doing so to kind of make make a bunch of money without having to pay anything back, that yeah, there should be penalties for that, but I think it should also be open to helping people who want to be citizens and who want to who want to not just immigrate but become, basically, I don't know if you'd say naturalized citizens, but like become legal citizens and pay taxes.
Or at least residents,
I think it's more to do with intent, because there's going to be some people who want to be citizens, but the citizenship process might be a little difficult for them to get through, and then other people will be more malicious, and their intentions will be to kind of rip off the government and make money off of doing these jobs, and then not having to pay anything back.
I get you.
And there's people in between as well whose motivations are really neither particularly noble nor particularly malicious.
So I would say that I agree with you in your intent. I think we're both on the same page where we sit back and say it would be absolutely wonderful if we can get people over here legally and situated correctly. What I sort of was thinking about is that even when people come over with the best of intentions, like they're going to come over and they want to be ideal U.S. citizens, they're coming over illegally. I think there is a net cost to the government, to the society as a whole. Like there is some loss of funds there. So it's not so much that I think we have to find a system that can minimize the loss from this sort of thing that's happening while trying to maintain people's rights and give them a reasonable expectation of of being processed in and becoming an American citizen. The thing that I seem to think will happen though is, unfortunately, business is so competitive that you really have to look at how people will act based on games theory. I don't know if you've ever looked at games theory, but essentially, a really good example is that if you're an Olympian and you're going to compete in the Olympics, you know that everyone's cheating, so you also have to cheat, sort of thing. Excuse me
Yeah.
for a second. So it's almost like you're a construction company. You're competing against Bill's construction company, and you really want to put food on the table for your family. You're going to take the illegal workers, and you'll weigh it out. How much do I save from using illegal workers, and how much do I cost due to breaking the law for fines or whatever? And there'll be some sort of equation of this is what I'm going to do, and it's a very difficult thing to stop. So it's a very complicated thing, and I think I have nothing else actually. Sorry.
The thing
Silly
about
employers don't they realize that they could save oh, let me do the math real quick. 21 they could save 21% by hiring all women.
Exactly.
what I was gonna say is a misconception about like illegal immigrants, especially like in construction, is that they get paid way less. They actually get paid a good amount. It's just you don't have to pay taxes or insurance and stuff like that. But comparable to like other construction workers, they're not making that much different.
So, did you happen to know? Because I'm actually really interested about that. So they earn about the same. Like, what about
Eh,
benefits and all that other things?
oh,
Because
no,
those are de
no benefits,
facto.
no benefits, no
Okay, so
insurance,
that's
but you're making the money that you need to bring home and
essentially yeah.
Yeah, but if they
But
get hurt on the job, they don't get workers' comp.
exactly.
If they get sick, well, they just don't get paid. They don't have insurance, so that complicates things. For those that are LT, yeah, okay, it's good, but if things go bad, they go really, really bad.
But
so
there's a lot of jobs out there, like a lot of cooks. They don't get insurance. They don't get they get injured on their job. It's pretty much
yep,
patch it back up and get back on the line.
yep, that's true.
Yeah.
But I mean, like if you're talking about construction workers, let's say an illegal immigrant gets $50,000 a year, and a full-fledged construction worker gets $55,000 a year. You might say, "Wow, that's really close," but when you put on the cost of benefits, that construction worker is actually earning $65,000 a year, maybe even $70,000 a year with health insurance and all these other things.
Hmm.
So there's a fairly substantial savings there because, and not only that, you don't have to register, you're them as having employees. You don't have to pay taxes on that. There's a lot of great stuff that goes along, as horrible as it sounds, that goes along with hiring illegal immigrants, and that's why everyone does it.
But going back to the Trump thing, one thing that he was saying that I kind of agreed with, even though I think he's a total asshole, is just things like the way to get our economy more money going back into it is actually getting these people into the system so they can pay taxes.
Yeah, because if they're illegal immigrants, often they do it to support their family that they left back home and they send their money out of the country.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I'll ever say about Trump is that Trump is the only candidate that I'm aware of that has the viewpoint of that America should return to being a self-interested first world nation rather than an externally interested first world nation. And I mean that viewpoint is echoed through a lot of people, who said, "Oh, we should have never gone to Iraq. Why do we care about what's happening in Iraq?" That sort of mindset where let's focus in on what's going on in our own country. Let's, pump ourselves up instead of, spreading ourselves too thin. And I don't really see that from Bernie and Hillary. And that's sort of, I'd hate to say it, but it's it's a very, very important point, I think.
Well, a lot of people have the opinion that if like we never went and took out Saddam Hussein, we would never have ISIS today.
You don't know.
Because a big reason that the Taliban spread over there was because Saddam wasn't there to fight it on his own territory. He was
Oh.
fighting, was he
Yeah,
not?
but yeah, the U.S. interventions kind of push the moderates into extremism because they didn't agree with it and they wanted to do something to fight back.
Before Saddam was the bad guy over there, and once we took him out, pretty much we became the bad guy.
Yep.
Because
I
we
think
can't.
But overall, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes
We
I have weird views, but I think sometimes the United States needs to protect their interests also. They wanted to take back control of the oil production over there.
Yeah, but we think we're like the heroes, but a big problem is you can't go into a neighborhood and say we're protecting you, meanwhile you're fucking bombing the shit out of their neighborhoods.
Yeah, basically, and yeah, no, but I'm all for it. I went to Afghanistan. I did my part for a country that's not even my own.
Yeah.
So I mean, so I think that's one of the major selling points of Trump, and I think Bernie or Hillary would do well to pick up that sort of narrative. I mean, maybe they will once they're actually facing down Trump, which looks to be more and more likely. You know.
Bernie will never end up. If
And
it's
what about their views on H-1Bs?
About
H1,
what?
H-1B visas
I don't know about that. Can you enlighten?
for immigrants to come legally if they have a university degree, they can become permanent residents.
Oh.
Instead of waiting years and years and years, it's basically 3 months or 3 or 6 months waiting period if they're qualified already.
That's interesting. I've actually never heard of that. I would think that on paper it looks good because there's a lot of I know that there's a lot of programs that exist that want to take train people just as soon as they get out of university, like into their country, because for the training part, you're not really productive. You're not really earning money for the country when you're going to school. That's actually a net deficit. So if you, like, let's say someone goes into university in Canada, becomes a doctor, and then is exported out to the United States, Canada loses on that deal, and the United States gains. So I can see why they would want to sit back and say, "Oh yeah, you have a degree. Come on over. We're happy to have you."
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not so sure that in
But
today's
there's
world that's such a sufficient
Yeah, but
like.
there's a quota, and that's the issue. Some people want to increase the quota, some people want to leave it the same. Because and right now, do you know how fast that quota gets filled up?
Not
Well,
sure.
yes,
I'm pretty sure pretty quick.
one day.
Yeah.
One day, yeah, I can see it. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, and Bill Gates was a big proponent of increasing the amount of H-1B visas available because sometimes I know some people say yes, hire locally, but especially at the R&D level where it's highly technical work, doesn't mean that because somebody is American is the best in their field.
Oh
Like
yeah,
for
I'm all
university
for
professor.
I'm all for bringing in the good people, and how about we get rid of some of our shitty people in this country? Because
Yeah,
just
but
because you're a citizen that you're born in the U.S. doesn't mean that you're a good person. There's plenty of fucking shitty
yeah,
people.
oh,
but
yeah.
there's another side to it where because not every job that requires a university degree is highly technical. There's some that like, for example, botanist or
Yeah.
things like that, like low-level university degrees, and often it's seen as a way to import cheap labor
Yeah.
Yeah.
because technically they're supposed to do some kind to justify the visa being awarded. The company needs to say, okay, this is how much we pay our regular employees that are local American citizens. Here's how much we plan to pay the new guy from another country. And we posted the job out for 3 months, but we didn't find anybody that was qualified enough to do it. Except that they
Yeah.
can play with the numbers. That doesn't get really verified. As long as it looks good on paper, it's allowed.
Mm.
All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up now. You guys want to plug anything else, or?
Can plug my channel again. So yeah, I do mostly interview videos, but also once in a while I do responses. I have a side project coming on where I go back to do my parody feminist shows, and I'll have guests over. So I'm just keeping that on the wraps for now. Don't want to give all my secrets. I'm starting to do more and more response videos, maybe collaborations with other YouTubers, big and small, just to kind of to follow the same spirit of my origin series to get people known, whether they're Sargon or whether they're Jim the Ape. and they can still produce equally good content. So maybe by doing collaboration, say response videos that allows to showcase their work also and use me as a platform to get them known, or also, well, show different kinds of response videos. Everybody has a different style.
Sounds
Awesome.
good.
Wow.
How about
Yeah,
you?
that sounded like some high praise, coming from you. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, because I like to, yeah, of course, because yeah, I like to feature people that are more popular than me. Have a larger subscriber base on my channel. It brings visibility to myself, but also I like to give back by showcasing people that have a smaller subscriber base than me, to return back the favor and kind of give them a bump as much as I can.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Canuck.
All right. Well, I do response videos almost exclusively on the subjects of just general belief, whether it's feminism, religion, whatever. And a fairly new channel, so I'm working and trying to get noticed. That's all. I don't have as much of a polished response. I mean, it's more of come if you like my stuff, great. If you don't, that's fine too. Whatever, you know.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And Jim the Ape, loving the transitions of poses from your modeling days. Oh no, these are post-modeling days.
Oh my God, you're transitioning?
No, 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 no. No, it's
Are you
just
becoming a monkey?
Yeah, I would say that would explain the eyebrows, you know.
no. It's the fact that in my earlier videos, up until pretty recently, I was using photographs of myself from my ape modeling days, and now I actually, it was because of, it seems silly, but it was because of Naked Ape. It had come to my attention after I had started making my YouTube channel that not only was he using a photograph of me from my ape modeling days as his avatar, but it was the exact same picture of me that I had chosen as my avatar. So I was like, well, fuck this. This is going to get confusing. So what I did was I stole some of my pet human's money and I paid an animator, Tombo Time, to do a cartoon avatar for me and to continue making said cartoon avatar in various poses and the occasional animation. Like my most recent video features an animation of me doing a rim shot with a drum kit. So yeah, so that's what I'm using my pet human's money for, and so he's talking about transitioning from using photographs of myself to using the animated the cartoon avatar that Tombo Time made for me. So I might as well plug his channel while I'm on here and say that he does good work, and if you like my cartoon avatar, check him out because he's the one who made it. And
Awesome.
also check out my channel. I do kind of a lot of response videos, but also I do sort of monologuing type videos where I just get on and I talk about something, and then and it's pretty much my wheelhouse is the feminism and social justice, but I occasionally respond to something else. Like I responded to a MGTOW, which was interesting. It ended up being a very long video. And I responded to, most recently, I responded to Top Hats and Champagne, talking about Avatar. So I respond to different things, and I would like to think that my video quality is gradually improving as I'm learning how to do different things. Like editing my audio is a fairly recent development, and I'm toying with like whether or not I should script my videos, because that kind of cuts down on my rambling if I give myself a structure. So hopefully my content will gradually improve, and as that happens, hopefully my channel will slowly grow. And I'm open to doing hangouts and collaborations with other people, just because I do it for fun. I do it because I enjoy making videos, and it's been a lot of fun so far. And like Feminist Flow, I don't monetize my videos or anything because I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it to get my message, my opinions, my views out there, and because it's a lot of fun.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, guys. So thanks for coming around, and
Thank you.
until next time, later.
See ya.
Bye.
Goodbye, humans.
Bye bye.